Today there are so many productivity apps and to-do list apps and a seemingly endless array of ways to stay organized. My problem was, how do you keep all those organizational tools organized? There are so many things competing for our attention, so many to-do lists, so many emails, so many tasks, so many different productivity tools that it just gets a bit overwhelming sometimes, especially when you work on multiple projects at the same time. So after a huge amount of trial and error and testing out so many of these apps and so many of these tools, I've finally landed on a workflow that's been working really well for me for the past couple of weeks. And rather than being overwhelmed by tasks every day in so many different locations, I kind of just follow what I've been calling a script every day. I always know exactly what I need to be doing next, and everything is already pre-planned. It's honestly wonderful. Let me show you how it all works. I will say before we get started, not all of these tools are free. You will have to pay for some of them. In my case, at least, these tools reduce a lot of stress in my life and help me be a lot more productive. So for me, I found it quite well worth paying the money for. But I did just want to make sure that was mentioned at the beginning here. Not all these tools are free. All right, let's check them out. So this strategy, this kind of system is divided into two different parts. What I call the input stage and then the script itself. The input stage is kind of your to-do lists. It's your inbox for all these tasks that come to you every single day. It's your to-do list apps, it's your email inbox, it could be your task management system at work. It's everywhere that, your calendar as well, everywhere that tasks appear and things you need to do appear. The second stage, the script, is kind of where the magic happens. This is where all of those inputs get organized and become manageable. So let's have a look at each of these one by one. We'll start with the input stage, and I'll briefly go through all of my personal input stages, but these will be very different for you depending on the type of work you do and the type of tools you like to use. But hopefully this brief overview gives you some ideas of how this stage can be managed, what I mean by the input stage, and maybe even give you some ideas for how you can manage tasks yourself. The first is just your everyday to-do list app. I use Todoist for this. I love Todoist on its own. It's a really powerful to-do list application, but it also integrates with Sunsama, which is our script stage. We'll get to that soon, but that's why I use Todoist, that integration. Now this stage is more for your everyday tasks, your everyday to-dos. It could be, clean the apartment or call mum or pay the credit card, things like that. These aren't really related to anything else. They're not a part of another big system. They're just your to-dos. Your second input source is your calendar. Now I use Google Calendar for this, running through Fantastical as the application itself. Now Fantastical is, I have to say, it is a fantastic calendar app. And within this, I have two types of events. The first type is your standard event, a call here or lunch here. They're just your normal standard events that someone might invite you to, or just typical events. You don't need me to explain what events are in a calendar. The second type are these green ones, and these are habits. Now, I actually put all the habits I want to build into my calendar as events, as this does a couple of things. It locks in time for them and makes sure that there's always time for every habit I want to build. Most of these are on kind of repeating weekly cycles, except for breakfast and things. These are daily things in the morning. For things like workout in the evening would be every Tuesday, for example. I've got, other things in there as well. I've got singing class, I've got guitar practice, I've got yoga every morning, you see here at 7:30. So all the things that I want to make sure are definitely happening every day or every week are in the calendar so that they can't be booked over. The next input source is Asana. Now this is what we use for task management at work with my team at Design Stripe. This would obviously depend on what you use in your job. The general idea is, though, that it is another input source. You do need to be managing work tasks, and we'll get into how that all plays into the system soon. The last input source is email. Email is essentially just one big to-do list, isn't it? You've got all your emails that arrive. You either need to reply to them, take action on them, or delete them. So email, having email as part of the system is super key to not missing emails, to making sure you have time to reply to them, and to avoid those emails that are like, I'm so sorry for my very slow reply, which is something I was very guilty of. So email is our last input source, yes. With all of these all happening all at once, and perhaps even more for you, you may have Jira, you may have Trello, you may have more and more sources. You can see how this is so difficult to stay on top of. Add to that, if you're also running a YouTube channel or multiple YouTube channels or creative projects and clients and things, you may have even more tools than these. So this is the problem. These are all the input sources. How do we then create a system out of this? How do we get a script for this? That's our next stage. And this is where the magic happens. So this is what Sunsama looks like. We've got our days here, and then on the right-hand side, we have a calendar and multiple other sources along here. So every morning you would have seen that I have time set in my calendar to plan the day and do a catch-up. This is how I start each day. I open up Sunsama and I look at all my things I need to do in all their different homes, and I build a day. I construct the day ahead. You can do this the night before, you can do this in the morning, whatever works best for you. But yeah, you build your day. So here's what this looks like. I start in the calendar here. And for each of these tasks, if I want them to be part of my day, I just hover over them and click Add to Tasks. And you'll see this Plan Day and Catch Up has appeared on my Tuesday column. We're working with Tuesday right now as kind of an example day. I'll then do the same for yoga and breakfast. There's my morning sorted, calendar-wise at least. We've got more to come. I have a call at 11, lunchtime at 2, and then in the evening, I want to do my workout, so I'll add that to my tasks. Dinner at 6:30, some time to read some books here, and then tidy up the house and go to sleep. So we've added everything in our calendar straight to our day, our Tuesday. And you see it's put all of these in chronological order. You've got the time next to each of these. Cool. The next step. Over the side here, I'll go to Todoist, which is another source, another input stage that we saw before. And here are all the tasks we saw in Todoist. And I want to add these to my day. I may say, okay, I need to clean the bins. So I'll move this task over to, let's do it before my workout. Great. I want to book an Airbnb as well, so I'll put that, maybe I'll do that in the morning before yoga. Great. And you'll see here little icons next to each one. We can see this is a Todoist task. You can see this is a calendar task. So you can start to see how all these input sources then construct the day here. Let's move on to the next one, Asana. So this is what I use for work, for my job. And I can see I have a task here. So this would fill out kind of the working hours of the day. So I might bring this task here, this design task into after breakfast. And then maybe I'll bring this task in after my call. These are just examples, of course. You may have a lot more, you may have less. And then the last one here is our email, our inbox with this Gmail icon. And so I may want to, let's have a look. What do we got here? I may want to reply to this email straight after booking this Airbnb, but before yoga. And I want to reply to this email after dinner in the evening. The great thing about all of these is they all, what's the word? They all synchronize, yeah. So if I mark this task off here on Sunsama, it'll mark it as complete on Todoist. If I mark this task off here on Sunsama, it'll get marked as complete on Asana. And all the details come across as well. This task in Asana might have some detail from my team, comments or details and information about the task. If I open up each task, all that information is here in Sunsama. So you never really need to leave this one task management application. You see here there are more options as well for, what do we got? GitHub, we got Jira, we got Trello. Is that Jira? Yeah, that's Jira. I don't know the Jira logo as well as I should. Outlook as well. So you can build all your input stages and then drag every task across to construct your day. And once you have all these things in here, everything's organized time-wise, chronologically, you just kind of follow the script. You work your way down the list and you know exactly what you need to be doing at any time of the day. So the first thing I know to do is plan the day and do a catch-up. Well, that's kind of when I would spend the time doing exactly this. Then I know I need to move on to booking this Airbnb. So I book it, I mark it off. It gets marked off on Todoist as well automatically. Then I move on to this email. And I can actually open this email and read the email here in Sunsama, which is incredible. And then, I reply to it and mark it off. Then I do my yoga, have breakfast, then move on to this task here in Asana. And you just work your way through the whole day until everything's ticked and marked off. So you can see how this kind of distills all the input and noise and incredible amount of tasks and things we need to do every day, and just lines it up nicely in a nice, easy to follow script, an easy to follow path for each day. And if something doesn't get done, you can just move it across to the next day. And they're also working on a mobile app at the moment for Sunsama, so you can just kind of work your way down the list on your phone as well. I think it's still in development though, it's still being beta tested. So it's not 100% bug-free at the moment, but it is being worked on, which is great. So this is the system I've been using for the past couple of weeks, and it's been working wonderfully well. I feel a lot less stressed and overwhelmed, and I can just stay on top of everything I need to do across life and work and calendar and emails and all the things that compete for our attention every day when your work involves the internet. Now, this, of course, will change and be updated as new tools come out and I try new things. But for now, this is the system. And I might record another video in 6 months or a year's time as this gets improved. But yeah, I'd love to hear what systems you're using. If you have any improvements on this, any thoughts on this, let me know in the comments. And hopefully this has helped with some ways of making your life less overwhelming task-wise. Now, I've got links to every single tool that we talked about in the description below, so check them out. Sign up if you think they'll work for you. I'm not sponsored by any of these, of course. I've got, what, like 400 subscribers. I don't think anyone's sponsoring me at the moment. These are just tools that I like, and I'm recommending them because of that. So thanks very much for watching. Hopefully this is helpful, and I will see you in next week's video. Bye.